It's October the 27th. You can see this bed's been worked over. I harvested the carrots, which you weren't expecting much of, and the rutabaga. Now that the parsnips are up, let's see what we can find of the few carrots that did grow. Normally the parsnips were more difficult. But normally you should be able to just push down on the carrot and then pull up and it will come up fairly easy. It's a nice carrot, but not very long. I'm going to take the tops off right away and just drop them back on the bed. Now this one over here has a really big top. Wonder what's underneath. Now that is a big carrot. It's got a split right here. Not a bad one though. And a split on this side. So while it's not badly split, it is split. I am deciding on where I'm going to put carrot seed plants, and do I have the enough area to do 3 different varieties in the 1 year, if I can space them apart. But if I do this variety, then this will be the carrot that I would plant next year for a seed plant. Another big carrot, but he's split. He's got 4 different legs to him. You see, this is what happens if you space them out. You'll get bigger carrots. That's not to say you'll get more carrots overall. In weight wise, you'll just get bigger individual carrots. There's 3 beds with carrots in, and this is the second one. It's a nice carrot. And you're thinking about how closely you want to space your crops. Also, what you want to think about, how big do you want the individual crops to grow? Oh, this is a Chantenay type. They grow a lot longer than this, but you see the triangle shape to it. As opposed to this is the toucan type, just a cylinder with a blunt end. Another Chantenay. Okay, I'm not seeing any more in this bed. This is where that corn was. I got a few partially developed corn, and while if I was expecting, depending on a crop from it, it would be a failure, but I considered it a success because I did get those few. And I'm pretty sure if I get the bed conditions just right, that I should be able to grow those. We'll dig up these carrots now. Oh, what do we got here? I thought for sure. You see how there's many sprouts? That would have been several carrots together. Don't know what that is. And again, same thing. That's odd. And you see how they got their roots growing out on them all over? So I don't know what's up with that either. Look at this. Now I've got what I know of. I'm just going to wander around the garden and see if there's any more volunteers poking up somewhere. Here's the pitiful harvest, such as it is. Let's see how much that is now in weight-wise. That small of a harvest. I will probably weigh this to the nearest gram on the other scale. 10 pounds, you take away the 3 for the bucket, then you've got 7 pounds. About 3,200 grams. Let's take up the rutabaga next. I think I'm going to have a much better harvest with rutabaga this year than I did last year. But don't get too excited yet, we'll start. I'll take out my pocket knife for this one. I think that was about the biggest I got last year. The turnip, when I take them up, I cut the root off and then I cut this in fairly well down, not right down into here. Now this will resprout in the spring if I were to take it out and plant it. If I cut it down here, it wouldn't resprout. So there's a hole in there, and I will forget that later. Turn around the screen so I can see what you're seeing. So there's a hole. Let's cut in here and see if we can find out. I'm gonna have to put it down on something. Okay, that's the two sides. This one's got the further down. Is there anything in there? That's not an earthworm. It is a maggot of some sort. Awful small to be making that big of a hole. But I think that's what done it. Because in some places, and it was like this down in the other hole too, let's see, you probably can't see it, but there's a little couple of lines there about the width of that grub. And down in the bottom here, it was Down in the bottom here, it was circling around the bottom of the hole. So, yeah, I'm thinking it was that grub, and tiny grub for a big hole. Second one, and I think the grub is right there. Let's cut that little piece out. You really eat into there. Can't find them, but I do have some kind of a grub eating. This is the second one that I ate into. There's the culprit for that one. Out he comes. It's from half of a bed, and I got several nice ones. These are the last to be planted, and there's a video where I planted those. And this was the second lot to be planted, so a little prior to the ones I just pulled. This side of the bed is direct sow, that side is transplant. We'll see what we get. I didn't forgot to turn the camera on, so I have this side partly done now. But I didn't get any big ones. That was the biggest I got. There's a potato stalk here. Another one here, potato stalk. No, I didn't get much from direct sowing this bed. The others were direct sown, but this is more in the shade. So I think it's transplants for the wind actually. If you have one of those 200 cell flats like I have, you can see right away we get bigger. So I have some kind of a root maggot issue, and they start by surface eating, but then they burrow in. I would definitely have to address that if I was a farm, albeit even for a home garden it's not something you want. So I won't be planting the rutabaga and turnip on the shady plot next year. Before we weigh the rutabaga, there's a couple of potato stalks here. I want to see what the potatoes are. I got the bigger bucket to make sure they all fit in one go. Remember, this bucket, this is a 7-gallon bucket, and it weighs 4 pounds. So the total weight was 33 pounds. Makes it a little easier. That brings it back to 30 pounds, which is 13.5 kilograms. So I'm disappointed with the rutabaga, and I'm not. We got just a little over 30 pounds of rutabaga, as opposed to last year we got over 50 pounds. But as I was saying about the carrots, I had these spaced out, and I had a lot of nice rutabaga, just the right size actually for me if I was going to make a meal, pot of soup or something. So spacing them out ended up giving me less in weight but more in good right size rutabaga. It was only 3 that were damaged, that's really damaged, and then I had that little bit of eating on the skin itself, which it wasn't deep enough to hinder its storage. So next year I'm not going to put the rutabaga over there. It'll have to be over here in this sunny plot to avoid getting those grubs and or disease, whatever it was making the skin bad. So I hope you liked the little reveal. Please give me a thumbs up and leave a comment, and I shall see you in the next video.